Hi, my name is Giselle and welcome to Skylogic. I'm so excited to finally have you all here and to have finally started this channel. So I've been studying astrology for about 10 years now and probably been teaching it for about 5 at this point. Most of my time both learning and teaching was in the Carol Ryder Astrological Foundation in Hollywood, California. I'd also visit groups like the National Council of Geocosmic Research and mostly other meetups like that. Basically, I was mostly in spaces I could afford. Now that I live in Northern California, there's really not as many spaces. But since I don't have any spaces, I figured I'd make my own. But for that same reason, I wanted to also make a space that was accessible to everybody. See, in my time being involved in the community, I noticed problems with not only how astrology was taught and understood, but how exclusive many of its spaces and schools not only could be, but were. See, one big issue I had was with the community's captivation with mysticism. This has been a large barrier to learning for many folks because it gives people who are authorities in astrology a way to dodge accountability by either hiding behind prejudice or some other form of divination to justify the conclusions of their analysis, rather than demonstrate their astrological reasoning with actual astrology. You can see how this could discourage a lot of people, since when teachers give you explanations like this, you learn nothing and just become more confused. The other big issue is money. Most schools, conventions, meetups, and consultations can cost a significant amount. I don't think I really have to explain how this is a huge barrier to access. I mean, if you're someone who doesn't have that kind of time and money, chances are you're probably not going to be invested at all. What this leads to is our last problem, a stagnant worldview. Astrology is a tool that we use so we can gauge and understand reality. We aren't doing that if we aren't incorporating every facet of life and society. Since one of the clear lines between professional astrologers and people who don't really have access to that information is based on class,
because money,
there's a significant lack of representation of various populations and how their experiences and realities should inform astrological knowledge. At the end of the day, it becomes a bubble that caters exclusively to the worldview of the rich without any real incentive to correct itself when reality presents them evidence of the contrary. Often in favor of fetishizing astrology as some unchanging, immutable occult mystery that should never be revised because some ancient secret order found all the truths of the world way back when. And we just need to rediscover them in order to understand the world, because everything stays exactly the same always. This is just water. So just with these 3 problems, you could see how the astrology community, for the most part being dominated by wealthy metaphysicians steeped in New Age spirituality, not only makes astrology incredibly inaccessible and discouraging, but it also gives life to a culture that incentivizes predatory business models based on profiting off of lessons and or consultations without having to demonstrate anything aside from a claim to arcane knowledge and our ignorance of said knowledge to justify it. That's not to say that every astrologer ends up like this or has to end up like this. There are many astrologers out there who have been more receptive to the reality of things and other people's experiences and have made some important breakthroughs. I respect them deeply, and I'm grateful that they provided me not only with the discipline of constantly re-examining our preconceptions of how we understand astrology, but testing it both theoretically and through practices in real-life situations. Now, I want to share that with you. So with that in mind, I started this channel to 1. Teach astrology in an accessible way to everyone for free, with a straightforward curriculum covering everything from the fundamentals, building all the way into reading full astrological charts thoroughly, withholding nothing, and proactively and enthusiastically addressing any of your questions and concerns with as much context and explanation as needed. And 2, cultivating a community dedicated to high ethical standards, grounded in a clear epistemological line based in material and dialectical reality, at least as a basis for collaborating and demonstrating our knowledge in group settings, and a proactive scholarship, the study, not
money,
so that we could shift the focus of astrology from being a hyper-competitive practice to one where we can collectivize and share our learning. Of course, I know that second one will probably take a very long time to put together, but I'm willing to see it through if you're willing to join me. Here's what the episode lineup will look like. There will be a collection of videos that will share the same numbered episode, where I will start with introducing the idea with the general overview of the subject, and then have other videos to talk about the specifics in more length after. So like with episode 1, there will be a divisions of signs, and then I will introduce the characteristics that go into every sign in following videos. I split them up this way because I wanted these to be short and easy to follow lesson videos that can be used as a reference to be revisited when you're trying to recall something specific. I'm going to call this our tentative lineup, and this will be available on our Facebook page. Alongside my episode lineup, I will have shorts dedicated to responding to feedback, questions, analysis, reading people's charts, and filling information gaps along the way if I felt I'd missed anything. And hopefully down the line, even interviews with other astrologers. We will be uploading content on a monthly basis within the first 2 weeks after every new moon. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button and share it with all your friends. Also, please leave a comment or email me on any thoughts or any feedback you may have on this video, or if you want your questions answered or charts read in future short videos. This is Skylogic, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.